Hi everyone, well here's the technique actually for last week, sorry about that, but I was going through 5 days worth of radiation and I didn't realize it was going to make me tired, but it did make me tired. So I apologize for it being a little late, but I'm going to try and do a couple of them this week in the first couple of days so that I can get caught up and we can get back to some kind of normalcy with these short little projects. Tonight we're going to be doing shaving cream, and I know a lot of people go, oh my goodness, and probably some of you have done shaving cream before, but let me show you here. Here's the plate. It's done with shaving cream, and I'm going to show you two different ways to do this. So this one is more of a Halloween, but I'm going to show you how to do one with like a spider web, and then I'm going to show you how you can do one that you do the plate and also a cup to match it. The other one is the base here, and this is done with shaving cream and of course Duncan's Color Burst, which I absolutely love. So that's the projects for tonight. So let me move this stuff out of the way. We're also going to be using tonight, let me pan this down a little bit. We're also going to be using tonight Duncan Concepts. And of course you guys will know these are my favorite colors. I like Bright Caribbean, dark honeysuckle, of course white and black, shaving cream, wax paper, Duncan SB 807 number 6 fan glaze brush. Let me see, I have a hard time seeing where to put this. There we go. Of course a palette knife. I have little plates here that I'm using as my palettes for when I need the palettes. And of course water and a sponge. So with that being said, let's move this stuff out of the way here. I'm going to move this over here because I don't need these big bottles. I put the concepts in those little squeeze bottles again like I've done before, and the reason I do that is I have a hard time squeezing the great big bottles because I have rheumatoid arthritis in my hands, and it gets kind of tough to do that. Okay. So I've already base coated everything tonight so that you don't have to sit and watch me, base coat things. So this one is base coated. This is a cup. It's base coated on the inside with Bright Caribbean. On the outside is really white. The handle doesn't have anything yet, but once I'm done with this technique, then I'm going to paint the handle with the same color that's on the inside. Okay, so that's the cup we're going to be doing. And then we have plate number 1, which is this is the one that's going to be matching the cup. So I'm going to set these up here. We're going to be doing base, and this is a little bit different shaped base than the other one that I did. You can see it's still drying a little bit, but that's okay. It's dry enough for us to do what we need to do on it. And then of course here's the plate that's going to have the spider web on it. So let's start with the spider web because it's one of the easiest ones to do, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. Excuse me. Shake up my shaving cream. Now it doesn't take a whole lot of shaving cream. This is probably the part that most people struggle with. They think they need, a whole mess of shaving cream, and they don't. I have such a hard time, guys, pushing, sorry. There we go. Okay, so then I'm going to take my fan brush. One thing I like about this, it smells really good, so I can smell the shaving cream here as I'm doing this project. We want to make sure that we get the top of the plate covered with like 1/8 of an inch thick. It doesn't have to be really thick. Oh. That first part I squeezed out was not as good as it should be, so I may have to add just a little bit there. Or I might have enough when I push it around here. Okay. All right, oops, so you can see it's not very thick. There's one spot here that don't like, let me do this. Let me make my hand smell good. There. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, that little bit I squeezed out was a little bit runny, so it's not spreading as good as it should. So make sure you shake it up really, really good. I need just a tad more right here. Okay. All right. Now we're putting the shaving cream on. Oh, doggone it. We're putting the shaving cream on, and what it's going to do is it's going to hold the color in place while we do this technique. Okay? So let me rinse that out. So I've got a black plate. So this plate has been done already, top and back, with 3 coats of Concepts 253 black. And that way I don't have to put any glaze on it at all. Because one thing you want to remember about this project, this is not a project that you could do and then glaze it later. It has to be all glazed and ready to go before we even start this project, okay? So to do a spiderweb, and I'm hoping you guys can see this, let me see if I can. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to add a little bit of food coloring to this so that you guys can see the, because white on white probably not going to show up. So food coloring you can add to your projects and your glazes, like when you're doing 3 coats and you lose track of where you're at. If you put the first coat on as it comes out of the jar, the second coat, add a little bit of food coloring to it. That way the second coat will be a little bit different color, and that way you'll be able to see where you've been, so you know you have 2 good coats on. And then the third coat, you're going to go back to how it is in the out of the jar. I don't think that's dark enough yet, guys. Let me add just a little bit more. And you know, food coloring nowadays comes in, well, you know, what I have here, which is the liquid. Then plus they also have the gel. And I've used both, and they both work great. So food coloring fires away, doesn't affect the glaze at all or the piece. I want to get this dark enough so we can see it, but it's not wanting to get dark enough here. Let me see now. If I've got a white plate here so I can see if it goes. Yeah, I think you can see that. Okay, so here's what we want to do. And like I said, you can squirt it right out of your big bottles if you want, or 2 ounce bottles. It's up to you. I find that this is easier for me to squeeze because these bottles are really pliable, and it also helps kind of guide where you're putting the color at. So I'm going to start in the center and do a circle, and I'm going to go out a little bit and do another circle, and I'm going to go out a little bit and do another circle, and then I'm going to go out and I'm going to do on the outer edge here. Okay. Now remember, this is white. Okay, so when it fires, it's going to be white. So it'll look like on the black that it's a white spider web. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take a style. You can use a stylus, or you can use the handle of a brush, whichever you want to use. I'm going to use a stylus here, and I'm going to start in the center, and I'm going to pretend like I'm cutting pieces of pie. So I'm going to go this way. Let me get a napkin here. I don't think that stylus is big enough. Let me try this, the handle of the brush. Yeah, that's better. Okay, there's one, and then I'm going to go over and do it, the pie in half. Then I'm going to do it into quarters. Then I'm going to divide those in half again. And I'm going to divide it in half again. Now remember, spider web is pretty wide, so you could continue to go like I did on the, and I'll show you on the next one I do, that you can make those a lot less. So now what happens here is you're going to take this directly to the back to be fired. You don't want it to sit for days. It needs to go directly in the kiln the same day that you do the piece. Otherwise, the shaving cream will get to where it's too dry and it actually starts falling off. So make sure that you have it done where you can fire it the same day that you do this project, okay? Okay, so that's number one. Okay, let me get number two here. Number two plate. Put that back over there. No, I better not. Put it over here. Okay. And I gotta find a place to put the one I just did. Here we go. I need a bigger table. Okay, so now this one's done with Caribbean on the back, bright Caribbean on the back, and really white on the top. So I'm gonna shake this baby up again. Okay. And okay. And I'm going to take my wonderful little fan brush and I'm going to pull it all the way out to the very edge. Let me turn this. Oh. It's been really hot here and the wind has been blowing, and of course that makes my nose run, which I absolutely hate, but oh well. That's oh, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but I feel pretty much more like myself since I got my hair cut today. It's like, yay. Okay, so see, I've got too much on here, so I'm just going to take this and put this over on a plate because I'm going to use that later when I do the vase, when I do the vase. You can tell I'm getting older. It takes me a while for my brain to work. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do Caribbean, bright Caribbean, and dark honeysuckle. We already have white on the background, so we don't need any white. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shake it up. Oh, come on, open up, guy. Okay, shake it up. So I'm going to start in the center again, and I'm going to do a circle. And another circle. And another circle. And what I'll do, guys, when I get these fired, I'll post the finished pictures on Facebook. So you can see what these look like with these colors. Okay, so there's the, there's the bright Caribbean. Now we're going to use the dark honeysuckle. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in between. Let's see, maybe I'll put a dot there. Okay, then I'm going to go here. Oops. And in between there and in between here. Oops, get back over there. Oh, come on, give me a hard time. If it runs, we don't care. All right, so now I'm going to take my brush again. Let me rinse out the shaving cream. Okay, so I'm going to start again. I'm going to do my pies. So I'm going to go here and here. I think it's kind of fun if you can make them a plate and a cup or something that's matching, and that way you can give it as a nice little gift too. And if you use the smaller plate and a really tiny cup, you could use it for a baby shower. So now I'm going to cut those in half again, because remember the first one I didn't cut it in half again. I'm going to cut this in half again. Okay, now the one you looked at, the black with the orange and the white, was done just like I just did this one, okay? But let's make it where we're doing something a little bit differently. Wipe that off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go this way. Okay, oops, I need that one. And then I'm going to do it again out here. All right, done. So these are really fast little projects. Okay, I need to get a clean paper towel here. One thing that's just messy. Let's see, I don't want to mess this up because I want to have it fired so you guys can see it. I want to do the cup next. So let me take this and put over here. Let me put this up here. Okay, and where's my cup at? It is right here. Okay. Now here's the thing you got to make, because we're gonna what I call Marbleize this cup. And so what you need is you need a piece of wax paper. The wax paper needs to be big enough that it will go completely around your cup. Okay. So I want to go down a little bit further this way. Because what I want is this side's up already, so this side's good. And this side I want to be able to go like this. And that engulfs that whole cup, okay? So that's the first thing you got to do, is you got to make sure that your wax paper is big enough to do that with. This is where people really put a lot of shaving cream out, and you don't need to put a whole lot out. So I'm just going to go here. Okay. Oops. I need a space here. There we go. So my brush is here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go this way and this way, because we want to make this wide enough that it will cover, it's wide enough for the cup as well as going around it. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to pull out. Hold this puppy down. And once I get to spread out, I always take my cup or whatever it is that I'm doing, my vase or something, and make sure that it's wide enough. Because we already know it's long enough. Okay, let me see here. Yep, it is. Okay. So here's what we're going to do this time. And I'm going to use the same colors that I used on the plate, so it's a matching set. But this time I'm going to go, I'm going to open up. I'm going to go horizontally. With color number 1. And close this baby down. And then color number 2. And you could actually add a third color if you wanted a third color. You know, it doesn't make a difference. So we're going to go here and here. Okay. Now, for those of you who are cooks, or ones that your mom was a cook and you saw her do this 100 times, is we're going to do what I call marbleizing it. So we're going to do like a marbleized cake, and I don't know if you remember, my mom used to do white cake, and then she'd pour brown chocolate in the chocolate cake in the middle, and then she'd take her knife or spatula and she would go like this. And I want you to make sure that you're doing it fairly close together, because this is what makes it marbleized. Okay? So you don't want to do, you know, really wide areas between. You want to keep it pretty close. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to take the cup, and I'll make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. I never can remember which way to go. There we go. So I'm going to set the cup down to where this is going to go right to where the handle is here, okay? So I'm going to set it down, and I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to push up Okay, and I'm going to pull it back. And then I'm going to continue to roll this through the shaving cream. And then when I get to this side, I'm going to hold it up and I'm going to go like this here. Okay. All right, so I want to make sure, like right here I have a spot that's not covered. I want to make sure I get that covered. I got a spot right here, so I'm going to take a palette knife, pick up a little bit of this, and take the palette knife and put it there. Okay. Now, the only thing that's bad about this, guys, I have to leave you sitting here for a second because I need to go to a sink and wash off the shaving cream. Okay? So hold on a second, I'll be right back. I'm coming, I'll be missing me. That's one thing that's bad about this technique is you gotta rinse the shaving cream, or at least the majority of the shaving cream off. You don't have to get it all off, because remember, we don't have to glaze this piece, but you can see how it's marbleized. Okay, oops. It's marbleized, okay? So now what I do, and I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna take my Caribbean, let me get off the handle there. Take my Caribbean and paint the handle. So that's number 2 done. Okay, now the one that I love absolutely the best. Let me get all this stuff out of the way because we're done with all this. I don't know how many of you have used the Color Burst crystals from Duncan, but I absolutely love them. So, let me show you how we do this. That palette. So here's what we're going to do. Let me set this over on the side here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take some shaving cream. And we're going to put some in the middle. Then I'm going to take my Concepts White. Excuse me. And I'm going to add the Concepts White to the shaving cream. I mean, you could use any color you want. I really love red and black and white together. I just think it looks really good. So I'm going to add some and I'm going to mix it up so that I have shaving cream and color. And I would say when you're done, it should be kind of like, I want to say marshmallow whip, for lack of a better description. I think that's a pretty good description. Why are we adding the shaving cream to the color is, you know, I want the color to be able to control where the color's at. And if you just squirted it on, you can't control it as much. So I think that mixes pretty good. Get some over here, okay. All right. So number 3. Let me get this back over here. Let me move this guy out of the way. Okay, can you guys all see here what, if I move it over here? No, I need to move it this way, yes. And this way, okay. So I'm gonna take my palette knife and I'm gonna pick up some of my mixture here and I'm gonna set it here on the edge of this vase and I'm gonna just kind of push it down a little bit. Okay, it doesn't need to be real thick. So what the shaving cream's doing is it's holding it in place, and I can kind of figure out where I want it to go up and down at. Let me turn this. Whoops. I'm trying to look in the computer screen so I can see what I'm doing on that side. But this is such a fun thing to do. It's easy. It can be done by any age group. It can be done by seniors. It can be done by kids, adults, men, women. So it's a good project for like family night, if you have family night at your studio. Okay, let me see here now. Turn a little bit more. All right. Now this is going to move a little bit, but not a whole lot. So let's finish going around here, right here. And, okay. So I'm going to, I don't want that down there that much. There we go. So I'm going to turn this around so you can see. Okay. So I'd say it's probably a little more than a 1/4 inch thick all the way around. Then I'm going to take my color burst, and I always take the thing off so I can see the colors easier. And then I got to get this top open. If I pull it too hard, the stuff goes all over the place. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some in my hand. Can you see this? I'm going to put some in my hand. Okay. And then I'm going to take with my fingers and I'm going to just start dropping it. Now remember, you need to make sure that you get these in the kiln right away so the shaving cream doesn't fall off. Because when it dries, it kind of crackles, and that's where I'm going to show you on that base that I did, how you kind of see like it's crackled on the... Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it like this, and probably be sorry I'm doing it this way, but I don't have another hand. I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm going to get a little closer. There we go. You could actually put this in a little paper cup and then you could bend it so it would be easier to sprinkle in here. But you know, these color bursts come in beautiful, beautiful colors. I haven't gotten the new ones that came out, the turquoise and the kind of a coral color, which is more the Arizona Southwest colors. But when I get a chance to get into to Marjan's, my distributor, I'll make sure I pick some up. But you know, what fun little projects you could do these. You know, I don't know how many of you own your own studios, but this would be a great project, like I said, for family night or seniors doing it, because the projects are quick and you can make a lot of money. Because I'm going to guarantee you what's happened to me when I used to have my studio in California. They do one, and the next thing you know, they want to do more than once, which is kind of good. So that's the 3 different ways to apply shaving cream to your piece using crystals. Let me show you this again because I want to show you what I was talking about. Let me see if I go this way maybe. So you can see how it looks like it's crackled. And that's because when the shaving cream dries, it gets some cracks in it. So that's why it's really important to at least put it in your kiln where the wind or somebody walking by won't knock it off. And you can see it does run a little bit. And of course the crystals run. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed those. Those are 3 little quick projects. Like I said, what I'll do, let me put this back up. What I'll do is when I get these fired, I'll take some pictures and I'll post them on my Facebook page, which is the same as my YouTube channel, which is Arlene D, one word, and then space online is the second word. And it's Arlene, A-R-L-E-N-E, and then D-E-E, which is my middle name. So it's Arlene D and then space online. And it's both, there's both a Facebook page, like I said, and also the YouTube channel. So for those of you who are on YouTube, there's not any way for me to attach that I know of, unless if anybody knows how to attach files to the YouTube channel, please let me know, because I would like to do that. But if you want handwritten instructions, which I do on all the projects that I do, all you have to do is email me at arlenedonline@gmail.com. And that's a email address that I've set up just for this channel and the Facebook page. So hope you had a good time. I know I always do. I'm going to be better. I'm going to hopefully post another one before the week is out here. So I'm like kind of caught up and going forward. So everybody have a great time. Miss you guys. Stay safe and God bless.